This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Volkswagen may be forced to leave a region of China. It operates a plant in the country's Xinjiang province with its joint venture partner SAIC. A local minority group called the Uyghurs say they've been put into forced labor among other rights violations, including to build a test track near that plant. VW hired a German audit firm to look into the accusations, and at first said it found no evidence of forced labor. But soon after, 6 executives from the audit firm said they had nothing to do with the report and did not support it. And now Handelsblatt reports that another independent researcher says they did find evidence of forced labor at the site, including documents and pictures to back it up. So now Volkswagen says it's in talks with SAIC over its future involvement at the plant. But it's hard to see how it can carry on. BYD is on a tear expanding outside of China. Yesterday we reported it's exporting its most popular EV in China, the Seagull, to South America, where it will be called the Dolphin Mini. And now Nikkei reports that BYD will build a plant in Mexico. It's already kicked off negotiations with officials and is looking for a site to build a factory. The company is spending $620 million to build a new industrial complex in Brazil as well. But no doubt a Chinese automaker setting up shop just south of the U.S. border will raise a number of eyebrows. BYD could also have its eye on popular pickup truck markets. Back in October, it filed patent pictures for a new pickup, and now spy shots of prototypes are starting to pop up in China. Car News China reports it will likely be offered in right-hand drive and sold in Australia before the end of the year, possibly followed by South Africa. It looks to be either a mid or full-size truck, and it's expected to be offered as both a plug-in hybrid and pure electric vehicle. Sony and Honda's joint venture will launch 3 models before the end of the decade, according to Nikkei. Sony Honda Mobility previously announced that it will start delivering a sedan under its Afeela brand name in North America in early 2026. And now the reports say it will also launch an SUV the following year in 2027 and a compact vehicle in 2028 or later. The Afeela sedan is said to use Qualcomm's Snapdragon platform to run its infotainment system and enable up to level 3 autonomous driving in some conditions. Production is expected to be somewhere in North America as well.
We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
The California Office of Administrative Law rejected a petition from Stellantis to overturn an emissions deal the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, made with several other automakers. The agency said the automaker can file a lawsuit or take the matter up with CARB instead. Stellantis filed the petition in December because it claimed the deal favored its competitors and put it at a competitive disadvantage. In 2019, CARB made separate voluntary agreements with Ford, BMW, Volkswagen, Honda, and later Volvo to reduce emissions. Stellantis says those automakers only have to meet standards based on national sales, while it and other automakers have to follow rules based on sales in the 14 states that have adopted California's vehicle emission standards. Because of that, Stellantis says it has limited shipments of some ICE models to those states in order to comply with the rules, which is where it says the disadvantage comes from. Former Volkswagen CEO Martin Winterkorn is still claiming he had no involvement in the company's diesel emission cheating scandal. Winterkorn, who's 76, testified in a German court earlier today as part of a €9 billion investor lawsuit that claimed he did not inform financial markets in a timely manner about the diesel defeat devices. Winterkorn says he didn't find out about the cheating until later and that he was not given all the details. He said if he had all the info, he would, quote, not have hesitated to take the right steps, and that he, quote, would have traveled to the USA myself to negotiate with authorities. And this was the first time that Winterkorn appeared in court for his role in the cheating, which cost him his job as CEO 8 years ago. Chinese automakers sure are ambitious. They're not afraid to tackle any segment in the market. And now Great Wall Motors, which is specialized in affordable SUVs, is going right after Rolls-Royce and Bentley. It's coming out with a 4-door limousine later this year with a long hood, chopped greenhouse, and short trunk. And it's working on an SUV that will compete with the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Both vehicles will be NEVs, but it's unclear if they'll be BEVs or PHEVs or both. Wards reports that Great Wall sold over 1.2 million vehicles last year in 60 markets around the world. The commercial version of any model is usually the ugliest, most boring example the automaker has to offer, often coming with steel wheels, panel sides, and extended roofs. But Ford doesn't think it has to be that way. In Europe, Ford Pro is expanding its MSRT trim line to the commercial versions of the Transit Custom and Ranger. They come with bigger, more stylish wheels, design elements like the lower air intakes that you might expect to see on sportier models, and better-looking interior materials. The Transit Custom also features bright paint colors and even a spoiler on the back. Ford says both models can be ordered now, and deliveries kick off in the middle of the year. Automakers are working on new ways to simplify their electric and electronic architectures in cars. Whether it's zonal computing, edge computing, 48 volts, or Ethernet connections, they're all working on it. And now Forvia has come up with a way of eliminating the fuse box in a vehicle and replacing it with electronic controls. Ben Cohen, the VP of Strategy, Sales, and Marketing, told us what it's all about.
Yeah, so now we can do it through what we call eFuse in our intelligent power distribution model. So if you think about things today where you have a traditional fuse box, and traditional fuses are literally designed to fail. They melt and they cut off power to the system. Years ago we had this in our houses, and we've even replaced that in our house. Today we're driving on a giant computer where there's a lot of electronics going in a vehicle, and we're still using melting fuses. So what we've done is we've come up with this unit where we can monitor the whole system through electronics. We have an eFuse in there with redundancies built in, because as we think about more automation, we can have fail operational services. What this also allows us to do is not wait till something breaks, not wait till it fails, but we can be monitoring the whole system. We can reroute power as it's needed. We can turn off something if it's malfunctioning. And we can be connected to a digital twin, so that way we get preventative maintenance. So I'm not waiting till something breaks. The system can be monitoring everything, and if something seems out of spec or out of line, we can throw a check engine light or however the OEM decides, and then you can fix things before they break. The other nice thing also is that if you want to add something to the system, it's not you have to find a port in your fuse box and run all the cabling. We can connect over there, update, and then the system is now able to scan for whatever you've just added. So say it's a trailer tow module or something like this. So we bring, fail operational, service-oriented architecture, and preventative maintenance all through this one module here.
And by the way, Ben Cohen says they're working with an OEM to develop this approach, and that we're going to see it on cars very soon. But that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for making Autoline a part of your day.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey, and by Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering. Boost your game.